Take a nice deep breath. Breathe into your heart and out of your mind. Isn't that a cool thing? Greetings, dear, precious spirit soul that you are. Just know you've never been harmed and never been hurt, because as a living entity, as a divine being, as an energy source, you see, there's no one or nothing that can ever touch you. My topic is expectations generate suffering. Remember that book, Great Expectations? I mentioned it before once. How the bride stood up at the wedding, so she never took the dress off, left the cake on the table. Years had passed, still the house all cobwebs and rats all and no cake left and all that, and because she was jilted. And so she then demonstrated to the world how she had been hurt. She was a living example of her pain and her suffering. Really, get over it. Get over it. You're going to get over it eventually. But what happens is these expectations, well, I expected. Well, I was looking forward to this. Well, I would expect that someone would do this and be well, I was expecting you to, well, I was expecting it to be really nice. Well, I was expecting it to be terrible. What do you mean? Expectations are different than expectancy. See, a state of expectancy is always ready to behold the divine, to listen and hear deep in nature. Real great expectancy has nothing to do with expectations, because it's whole this thing also about parenting somehow, and how each generation it takes on from the ones before, because we added on in the mind the belief system, customs, family relationships, all these kind of things. And then we start to expect, well, our parents were supposed to do this and that. They were supposed to do this for me, and they were supposed to do that for me. I never, ever expected like that from my parents. I just was so grateful that they were taking care of me, and I had food on the table, a house. I could do what I wanted. I had a great life. They weren't mean to me or anything. Not that everybody was cool, and because I realize now a lot of family secrets and different things I had no idea, and they're carrying these burdens around and afraid somebody's going to find out, and if they do, what it means is going to be this and that. It's all this craziness, this really craziness comes from these expectations, these unwritten rules, you might say, of how you're supposed to behave, what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to treat me, what I'm supposed to get, how this is going to turn out. And so what happens is it's the mind gets fixed on it, and then you're already living it, that this is, or you're expecting you're never going to win. Look at how many people say, oh, I never win anything. Well, why would you say that? You already won. Come on, getting rid of 1 and 2, that's just a number, but they're always affirming and arguing for their limitations, arguing for their tragedies, arguing for their punishment, arguing for their misery, celebrating their suffering as with a badge of honor and all of this, because you didn't fulfill my expectations. You hurt me. You weren't the way I wanted you to be. You didn't treat me the way. Wait a minute. What are you doing? You see, and this is the mind, and how you know that this is not you is it's changing all the time, and you don't. You're always right there, and you've always been right there where you are. Well, so where do we go next? Well, you don't really go anywhere. You think because you take yourself with you. Can you get it? That when we are centered in who we are always having a good time, so to speak. We are always self-satisfied. We are always fulfilled. We are not expecting to be fulfilled. We're not expecting to be satisfied. We're not, we have, we don't have these expectations. We have an expectancy in a sense of an openness and a joy of the divine and what's possible and what will be and what is and what, because we never know in the next moment what's going to be. But when you're centered in, and use your breath, as I'm talking about, help you to breathe and get into your center. Be right there where you are. Just notice where you are right now. Look around. Get right here. Breathe. Be centered, because we've been in the mind so much. We have to get into ourselves. And when we have this expectations, it's even when we do our prayers to the divine, or we open ourselves to whatever we would like to bring into our lives, and then we tell God how to do it. And then we tell the divine, well, this is going to happen, and they're going to be like this, and this is how it's going to be. Well, there are people that live like that, and they make sure they don't have any surprises, and they organize, because these people have been so affected by the mind virus that they live in fear constantly. And in this they're always in conflict, and they have to always keep the battle going and the wars going, and let's fight this and fight that and fight this and keep fighting. I don't need to fight. I don't need to fight. I have nothing I'm against. I don't have an enemy, so to speak. Because when you do, you build all of these, and these then become your expectations. And then when you don't get it, then you feel bad. And then you think, then the mind goes, well, then they don't love me. And then you make up a story. And then you say, well, they didn't treat me the way I wanted. And my parents wanted a boy, and I'm a girl. Well, who cares? Really? Really? And it's so amazing how by giving over, what would you say, all this power to people, that I could have been better off. I couldn't have suffered so much if you hadn't been there for me. Well, are you there for others? Is that what you're saying? The very thing that we criticize others about, are we doing that ourselves? You take a look at that. So just notice how the expectations then, you're not willing for the divine to actually take over. You're not willing for your highest good and benefit to manifest, because then you're stuck on how it has to be in order for you to be happy, and nothing has to be in order for you to be happy. Nothing at all. Nothing. It's just you. Woo. Okay? That's it. And this is the mind virus. It's talking to you, it's making plans, it's creating stories, it's telling you that nobody loves you, it's telling you that they don't want you, they're going to get rid of you, it's going to tell you later that you're better than they are, and then you're going to, and you're going to hate, and you're going to kill them, and you're going to get, and how, when you find people who are always pointing at someone else and how bad they are, they're not really looking at the issues of life. They're giving all of their power somehow to someone or something outside of themselves. When you give the power back, take it back to where it belongs, you can be satisfied and fulfilled in any situation, but don't set yourself up to prove that. So you have all of these challenging situations so you can prove that you were there and centered. No, forget it, proving it. But that's so you want to do your work. And when you notice how these expectations knock you off, and you just notice it, and it ruins your good time, it ruins the party, it makes you feel bad, and then you go through the whole, it's the mind. Come on, this is what it's doing. And when you take your power back, what you do is you're just there. And you are the party going somewhere to happen. And you let go and you let God. You are in the glory of the divine moment. You know what I mean? So expectations always set people up to suffer, because where do those expectations come from? Where did you get those ideas? Who says it has to be that way? Who's making the rules? Who's making the laws? Who's saying how it has to be in order for you to be loved and to be loving and to be to prosper and to be successful? You already are. And when you realize that, You're not giving your power away to any unfulfilled expectation, to any expectation fulfilled. You are simply being who you are in every moment of now and trusting in your inner self and knowing that wherever you are then, hey, it's exactly where you need to be. And now receive the gifts that are there for you in that moment of now. Big hugs. If there's any way that I can serve you and support you, email me any questions that you may have. Go to the website, terrycolewhitaker.com. It has the email there, and I'm here to serve. If you got any questions, anything you want me to talk about, anything you want me to deal with, let me know that. And then I do the phone counseling, also retreats and workshops, and we're doing some special half-day Saturdays and Sunday workshops here at Mount Shasta. So anyway, love you lots. Thank you for your love and support. Go out and share this with other people. You know where you are and who you are. Go out there and empower people simply by you being who you are.